salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east. All across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State. Oh, Texas got it all, y'all.
Well, howdy, neighbors. I'm your Texas Agriculture Commissioner, Sid Miller. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters right here on RFD TV. Now, today, we're going to talk about something really sweet, but probably not what you're thinking. The Texas sweet onion, one of our most famous agriculture products. It was named the state vegetable in 1997. Onions rank as the #1 vegetable crop in Texas. So it's no surprise onions are a staple in kitchens all across the state. Now, this vegetable can be eaten raw, chopped up in salads, caramelized in stews, in chili, grilled on top of a big Texas beef patty, and a lot more. Depending on how they're cooked, the taste can be versatile too. That's what makes them so full of flavor. Not only do onions taste good, but they're also good for you. They benefit heart health, improve blood sugar regulations, they're high in vitamin B and C, and hey, they're effective in fighting cancer too. Texas ranks 6th in the nation for onion production, but it brings in $90 million a year. Spanning across the Rio Grande Valley in south central Texas, you can find 16,000 acres of onions right here in the Lone Star State. So what makes the Texas sweet onion unique compared to other onions grown around the country? Well, unlike onions which are planted in the spring, the Texas sweet onion is planted in October and grown all the way through the mid of June. This allows to survive cooler winters, making it very valuable cash crop. Now, let's join Tammy Arnder as she heads down to South Texas for a visit with Dixondale Farms. Hey, over 100 years in production, Dixondale Farms has grown to become one of the largest growers of onions in the United States. $1 million onions are just another way Texas agriculture matters.
Spring of my senior year at West Point, I happened to meet a pretty little girl. I called it a dance hall. I called it a beer joint. She called it a dance hall. But we hit it off. We've been together ever since. And Jeannie, my wife, is the reason I'm here.
Bruce Frazier married into the onion business, and it was a match made in heaven. Frazier runs Dixondale Onion Farm in Carrizo Springs, Texas.
It's the largest onion transplant producer in the United States, and I don't know about the rest of the world, but we probably produce close to 90% of the onion plants grown in the United States. And we harvest the onion plants. We grow them. We grow the onions from a seed to about the size of a pencil, and then we send it to people to transplant to grow the bulbs, which will make the mature onions.
Dixondale started in 1913. Frazier and his wife took over the business in 1982. They grow about 60 varieties of onions on just over 2,000 acres.
Started from seed, get them irrigated. It takes about 90 days for us to take it from a seed to a transplant. So with that many varieties, it's sort of critical to have the data to know how much of a certain variety to plant to have it ready on a particular date. So there's some varieties we grow that have the seed cost is in the $25,000 to $30,000 an acre, just in seed cost. Most of them are in the $7,000 to $8,000 an acre. So, it's pretty critical. You don't want to plant too much, but you got to supply. And since we control so much of the market share, we can't really get them anywhere else.
Probably the most famous onion is the Vidalia from Georgia, but there's a really good chance that even those Vidalias got their start on this farm in South Texas.
So there's red, whites, and yellows. Some of these may end up in the Vidalia, Georgia area, because we grow the Grand X onion for farmers in Vidalia, Georgia. In Texas, the most popular variety is called the 1015 Super Sweet. So there's a lot of that in there, and then of course people whites and red onions for salads. And so right in this field right here, there's probably close to 30 million plants.
The primary focus of Dixondale Farms is the onion sets, which are small onions grown from seed, then sold as transplants to other farms and home gardeners.
It's all hand labor. They harvest them, they tie them with a rubber band, they cut the tops, and they place them in containers. So we have a mail order business where we have close to, I think we were shipping somewhere around 300,000 packages throughout the United States directly to consumers, a lot of garden centers and little independent garden centers. And then we have distributors that distribute them to the big box stores and big garden centers throughout the country.
According to the National Onion Association, onion consumption has risen over 70% in the last 2 decades, with just over 20 pounds eaten per person each year, with onion rings being the most popular way to eat them. And when COVID hit, home gardeners increased exponentially, garnering Dixondale another 45,000 customers through their online ordering. For Frazier, the customer is what this business is all about.
And you know, the dedication is not just to our employees, it's also to our customers. You know, we keep doing it because, you know, Dixondale started in 1913, so we're 111 years old coming up on that. And these customers rely on us for this product.
I'm Tammy Arender for Texas Agriculture Matters.
Well, howdy, neighbors. Today it's my pleasure to have Dante Gagliazzi joining me. Dante is the CEO of the Texas International Produce Association. Dante, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, let's get started. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I'm the CEO of the Texas International Produce Association. We're based way down on the tip of Texas, Mission, Texas, in fact. Makes it pretty perfect. So we represent all of the fresh produce that's either grown in the state or that's coming to the state from other countries. And Texas is important because we're right in the middle of the U.S., so we're responsible for feeding almost 2/3 of the Americans.
Oh, wow. So a lot of it grown there, but it's also a lot from Central and South America and Mexico. Yep. Comes right through there. Okay, it's CEO of the International Produce Association. Tell us what the association does and what it's about.
Yeah, so we, our elevator pitch is that we represent the $13 billion of fresh produce that's either grown in the state or considers Texas first point of arrival. And we represent the whole supply chain. So we're talking seed to shelf and everything in between. We represent the farmers. We represent the folks working in the warehouses that pack everything up, make it look nice, the grocery stores, the restaurants. If you've got fresh produce on your plate, we're trying to make that possible.
Now, Texas is known for sweet onions. Tell us about our number one vegetable, the Texas sweet onion.
The Texas 1015 sweet onion, in
right?
fact, yeah. So, it was actually founded here in Texas by Dr. Leonard Pike back in the early 90s. He developed this onion, and the reason why we call it the sweet onion is, a lot of people, they often know when you cut up an onion, it can make you tear up, right? And that's all that.
Oh, it'll flat make you cry.
Yeah, exactly.
A yellow one.
A yellow one will, but not a Texas yellow.
No.
And it's because of Dr. Pike. And that sweet onion has so much water content that, in fact, the onion almost tastes like it tastes sweet and juicy. And so that makes that onion so diverse because you can now use it on a hamburger, on a salad, but you can also cook it up and it tastes incredible, right? Whether you're barbecuing or you're making it with fish and meat. And the Texas 1015 is so unique because it's the first fresh onion available in America every single year.
What my favorite is to chop them up in little quarters and put them in a bowl of water and get them in the refrigerator and get them ice cold. Oh, I love eating that with some red beans or black-eyed peas. So why are we so successful with this onion?
Well, we're so successful for a variety of reasons. First off, as the first sweet onion available in the U.S., that means people are already hankering for it because the last sweet onion they had that was fresh was back in August. So people have gone so many months without it, right? And those storage onions, they're the ones that'll make you cry.
So what's the, there's a Vidalia onion.
Right.
They're kind of known for Georgia. What makes Texas so adaptable and so perfect for the 1015Y?
Well, let me tell you something real quick. So the Vidalia onion, little secret here, is actually the grandson of the Texas 1015 onion.
You got to be kidding me.
Nope.
Really?
I kid you not.
Wow.
Yeah, the Texas 1015 is one of the first sweet onions that was developed and made perfect, really, for consumers here in the U.S. And so what makes us so unique is the fact that we've got the right soil, right? Where we grow down in the Rio Grande Valley and out in the Winter Garden regions, we've got that combination of the sandy loam, we've got a little bit of clay, but mostly what we got is we got those warm winters. And those warm winters help the onions grow.
Okay.
Right?
Hey, folks, we're going to have to take a break, but we'll be right back with more from Dante and Texas Sweet Onions. Welcome back, neighbors, to Texas Agriculture Matters. I'm your host, Commissioner Sid Miller. Now let's continue our talk with Dante Galeazzi. How do you see the industry changing? What lies ahead for this industry?
I think great things lie ahead. What we're seeing is a resurgence of Texas onions. So prior to about 3 years ago, we actually saw acreage decrease a lot. And that was due to resources, right? We didn't have enough labor, we didn't have enough water, and all the inputs were getting more and more expensive. And the return just wasn't there. And then this unfortunate thing called COVID happened. But what's not unfortunate is that Americans, when they came out of COVID, had a resurgence and a sense of being healthy. And they understood finally, after all those years of telling, mom and dad telling you got to eat your vegetables, they finally went, that's right, we got to eat our vegetables. And Americans did. They came out of COVID and they've eaten more vegetables now than they ever have. So I see Texas onions being one of those premier shelf items.
Well, and there's been a lot of innovations to help offset those input costs.
Right.
So what are the challenges lying ahead for the onion industry and the whole produce industry, actually?
Right. So, I mentioned it. Water is going to continue to be a huge one. Texas continues to go through these multi-year droughts, and we've got a growing population, 850 new people every day. So we're going to have to continue to be smart about how we use that resource. Labor's another one, right? Until we got a good guest worker program figured out, all of our onions are harvested by hand. Yeah. And so if we don't have those hands, we struggle to harvest them.
Now that 850 new Texans that's the legal ones. We have about 10,000 every day that are not legal.
Yeah.
So we've got that's another topic for another day. So what's your association, the International Produce Association, do to address these problems and these obstacles for the farmers in the valley?
Yeah. So. Well, as you know, we spend a lot of time in Austin when Texas is in legislature, and then we also go to D.C. But one of the things that we really try to do is increase consumption by making people aware. 850 new people to the state every day means that's 850 new people we got to tell about Texas onions. That's 850 new people we got to introduce to Texas onions. Not to mention the other 59 commodities we grow here, like melons and Texas grapefruit and oranges, and so. We have our hands full trying to just let them know what we do and let them know why it's good for them.
Well, and it's a versatile. I mean, it stores good. It's got
Absolutely.
Good shelf life. You can can it, you can cook it, you can eat it fresh. Of course, and it, I don't know. The overall impact, I think, is like how many $1 billion from the onion industry? I can't remember, but I don't think it factors in everybody that plants them in their garden. Nearly everybody that plants a garden has got some 1015Ys in it, right?
That's exactly right. And actually, anybody that picks up their onions from like a Home Depot or a Lowe's is actually getting them from a Texas onion grower here. He's the guy that's making it happen. And so our Texas onion industry is touching every corner of onions here in America. And people may not realize it, but they're supporting Texans by getting the Texas 1015 onions.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
Why do you think Texas agriculture matters?
You know, we could do a whole episode on that, but I'll make it brief. And I'm going to steal one of your lines. People have got to eat 3 times a day. Yeah. And if they're not counting on Texas, where are they going to get their fresh produce during the winter, right? We are one of the crucial points in the food supply chain for America. And we're going to continue to be one of those crucial points, especially if we got 850 new Texans every day that we got to feed.
Dante, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate you being on the show and telling us about those great Texas sweet onions. Folks, we're going to take a break and look at another great Go Texan partner. For over 20 years, the Texas Department of Agriculture's Go Texan program has helped promote products made right here in the Lone Star State. From boots to salsa, Go Texan members make the best stuff on earth. Now, friends, let's take a look at one of these fine Texas businesses and why they are Go Texan proud.
Go Texan every day.
SE11 Farms was started as a life recovery program. When we purchased it, it was a commercial blackberry farm, and it was already up and going, and we wanted to bring people in that needed some kind of help, social services type help. And so we bought the farm for dual purposes, to continue on with the agriculture, raising blackberries, but also to help people that were in need. Why we decided to bring agriculture in along with helping people is because there's something about nature, there's something about people being able to put their hands on a plant, seeing it grow, seeing it eventually grow, some kind of harvest, prosper, and it's just fulfilling. There's some type of therapy that goes along with that, and so we believe that mixing the two of them together was a great idea to help people therapeutically. We have seen tremendous success and reward from our program here, the Life Recovery Program, mixing that with agriculture. It's been fantastic. A lot of the men love just coming out and breathing fresh air every day, putting their hands to something. They find purpose, they find calling, and it's been a great experience. We've had tremendous success. Okay, so our blackberries, we actually are the largest blackberry farm in Texas, which I'm excited and proud to say. So what we do is we sell them to grocery stores. So during harvest season, you can find them in just about any grocery store around this Central Texas area and East Texas area. So we are a subcontractor for a trust company, and they send us production. And what we do again is give an opportunity for our guys to learn a trade. So they learn how to read blueprints, they learn how to, again, put their hands to a hammer and nail something, and again, real purposeful. And then everything that's produced here, income-wise, goes back to serving them, 100% of it. Doing agriculture is a tool. Building trusses, lumber, that's all a tool. But the bottom line, it is ultimately Christ that makes the impact.
So with the berry farm, with the guys, we run the berries during the summertime, and it gives them a sense of accomplishment. I mean, it's like, so in the Bible in Matthew it says, the seeds planted, some seeds will get plucked up, some seeds will take root and hold, and this is kind of a hands-on training experience for them. It shows them, hey, maybe if I plant a seed of my testimony or whatever, just like we plant the seeds and the plants out here, they actually get to watch it grow and come into fruition, and the same thing in their life. I mean, all you can do is be the witness and be the example to people and plant that seed, and just like the berry plants out here, you never know what's going to happen. I enlisted in the Marine Corps March 19, 2000, went to Fallujah, Iraq, and when I came back, I did some drinking, and eventually wound up getting in a little bit of trouble, going to prison. And I heard about this place, and when I came here, it wasn't a program that I wanted to go through, and I had some history, with going through things because of going overseas. And this place, I'd never heard of God at the time. I mean, I've heard of it, but I wasn't saved. And this place literally saved my life.
The Go Texas program, because it's fantastic to allow us for promotion, to let everybody know that what we're doing here, we are focused on Texans, we are focused on reaching our communities and providing a good product for our Texas people. We're all pretty much Texas natives, and we love our state, and we love what our state stands for. And so yes, to be able to offer a product to our communities is something very fulfilling for us.
Go Texan every day.
Well, neighbors, thank you for joining us for another episode of Texas Agriculture Matters. Hey, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about Texas' leading vegetable crop. Even though its development was costly, Texas A&M's iconic 1015Y Texas sweet onion was nicknamed the $1 million baby because it ended up being a great investment for the Texas agriculture economy. Sounds like we hit the jackpot to me. Whether you're brave enough to eat the Texas sweet onion raw like an apple, or maybe like me, I prefer to eat it sliced, battered, and deep fried. One thing is certain, nobody crafts a sweet onion like a Texas farmer. As always, I'd like to close by saying thanks to every Texas farmer and rancher who works from sunrise to sunset to help keep our rural heritage alive. Now finally, here's today's cowboy logic. There's two ways to go bankrupt: gradually and suddenly. Thank you. God bless, and remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters.
From the salty Gulf Coast to the rolling high plains, to the piney woods in the east, all across our dear Texas, folks need good food to eat. Our farmers and ranchers are heroes. They've always made Texas great. Texas agriculture matters. It's the heart of the Lone Star State.
Oh, Texas got it all.